So the Federal Reserve is printing trillions of dollars of paper money. Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek, and this is a good opportunity to talk about collecting sheets of Federal Reserve notes because it's something I've never talked about before, and the printing presses are running. So let's start talking about it, shall we? So one of the things that you may or may not be aware of is that from the Federal Reserve, actually from the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, you can buy sheets of money. This is a better view for you guys because you don't have to look at my face, but these big boards is how the US Mint used to ship these. Big flat boards until they started shipping them rolled up. This is a series 1981 from the Boston district. A is for Boston. So this poses a lot of problems for collectors because these things are huge. So there's a couple different things. For those of you who collect, have any of you ever seen people who collect newspapers? They have these oversized drawers they put stuff in. So the hard part here is, of course, the space. Either you're going to have stuff that's going to take up a lot of space and you kind of have to lay flat, or you have to find some kind of like ingenious way to hang them and frame them, right? Or if you just want to own them and put them in storage, they come rolled up in tubes and you can keep them that way. Now, what's fun about this is you can actually buy sheets of original paper that are old silver certificates. Believe it or not, a lot of times those will be $2,000 or $3,000. Sometimes, of course, more. You can, on a semi-regular basis, if you follow currency auctions, you can find what's known as national bank notes in original sheets of currency, and oftentimes those don't trade for a ton of money. They're expensive, right? They'll be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a lot of these things. Now, there are things that get more and more and more scarce and trade for a lot more money. So, for example, if you get an original sheet of the Hawaii bank notes or the North African bank notes, those can legitimately be tens of thousands of dollars. So they can be fun to collect. Most people I know who have these, this is the original shipping here, packaging. Most of the people that I know who have these actually usually just have one or two they were given as a gift. People often buy these for gifts. And you can buy just little 4-note segments, and they're easier to frame, and they actually do make a good gift. This is some more notes from the same time period, 1981. This is a half sheet, so instead of being 32 notes, it's 16 notes. Now the Federal Reserve, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, is now producing notes in a different size. So they used to be 8x4, so you'd get 32 notes in a sheet, and now they're 5x10, so they're 50 notes in a sheet. Now they still produce the smaller sheets, so you can buy smaller sheets if you want to, and you can buy brand new $50 bill or $100 bill, little groups of 4 or 8 notes, and they're really pretty impressive looking when they're like that. And I've seen some of those framed up. Now, one of the things that you may or may not know about, and I'm going to get into something a little bit different, is there are actually sheets of notes that have mismatched serial numbers on them. This does not. This is just a prop, right? So it's kind of fun to look for things like that. There are actually known notes with mismatched serial numbers on them. And if you want kind of a fun book, you can get any edition of this book. So if you just find a used one, this is Bart's book on paper money errors. Any year is good. The pricing is not exact, but the information is really fantastic. One of the fun things about this book is they actually have a table with the list of mismatched serial numbers that are known. The fun thing about paper money is that there's a lot of data because you have serial numbers. So you can track all this stuff and you can look at the different notes where they have mismatched serial numbers. And what's really cool about this is, well, sometimes it'll just be the block at the front. So just the prefix. So it'll be like, instead of H in the serial number and then H in the serial number, it'll be like H in the serial number and then A in the serial number. It'll be mismatched. And so that's really cool. One of the things that's really scarce is they actually have mismatched charter numbers for your national banknotes. So the charter number doesn't match up with the actual banknote. This is one of those things that I've never owned. and they're really scarce, and it can be easy to kind of overlook if someone's not really paying attention, because you probably don't have all 14,000 whatever banknotes memorized as far as what the number is, and if you don't take the time to look it up, you won't ever see it, right? So when it comes to these older sheets of notes, one of the things that you'll know is they're not usually that expensive. Like, they're harder to ship, so people don't like throwing them up on eBay that much. They get kind of wrinkly, so quality control can be kind of an issue. And what we have found is that usually they trade, at less than double face value. Usually, if you go to a coin shop or something like that, there are exceptions. There's stuff that's becoming more and more popular, like these 1976 series that are actually star notes. So these are series that are a lot more popular. And you can see, though, just as we're looking at it, kind of the wrinkly problem, right? So you can kind of see that the notes get a little bit wrinkly from being in this housing in these cases. Got a little wrinkle up in here. And so that can affect the value. And so once again, storage is a problem. But I'm seeing these 16 sheet star notes on $2 bills that it seems to me that they weren't more than 75 bucks that long ago. Lots of times now it looks like they're trading for $200 to $300. Now, when it comes to housing, and once again, I've seen some pretty unique stuff that people have done. You kind of have to do the custom job. Like this guy here, you see they took some plexiglass, drilled some holes, got a piece of wood. You see the wood slides over the top here. I think this is all a custom-made job. They got the little hooks that go in there. And then, now this is cool because this, of course, you can hang on the wall. And, you can see both sides if you want to. It's easy to display. Those other ones, when you take it off, they're not as easy to display. This is a 1995 series $10 bills with the star notes. This is a pretty handsome display, and I also have another one that that the same people had done, just with some $2 bills. But there's options. There's ways to get around some of the storage and display issues. At any given time, that can take up. Well, there's the space issue, and then there's the cost of putting something in a nice holder, right? It can take up some dollars. It can take up some money, right? So one of the other things just to note on paper money in general, if you hang this on a wall near a window, you're probably going to see it fade over time. And so it's one of those things that if you care about the storing, you want to make sure that this is, the plastic you're using doesn't have any chemicals in it. There are different things that you want to do. You can put things that have a UV block in them so that the light won't affect it as much, but you don't want it in direct sunlight. And so people who store them in the long, narrow, like newspaper shelves, the darkness is good for the notes. They'll stay crisp and fresh looking, but you miss out on that chance to display the notes. So it's a real fun area to collect. It's something that always looks good on the wall. I don't have a huge collection of these, but I do tend to keep something up on the wall just because it looks nice. And also I do tend to keep things that are a gift. So I do have something that's a little special to me on my wall, and they're fun. They make great gifts, and it's kind of a neat collecting area, and it can really get you into other areas like those mismatched serial numbers. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.